Good girl. Unload, unload, unload. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brian up here at the Little Orchard Farm. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful week. Welcome to the video today. Today, man, I'm gonna do a little bit of winterizing here in the garden. So the garden is done for the year. I got a little bit of lemon balm left. The marigolds have all decided to take a hike. We've had a couple of frosts, so everything is pretty much done. And so what I'm going to do today, I'm going to clean out a lot of this old vegetation. Pardon me. I'm going to clean out the old vegetation. I'm going to knock down the loofah panel over there. I got a few loofahs still on the vine. I may check and see if those are of any count over here. I'm going to take off all the panels. I'm going to take out all the T-post, and then I'm going to unfurl or unfold this tarp here and lay it across this area right here and just let it go for the winter and let it just kind of do its thing, kill all the grasses and all that good stuff in here. And then next spring, we'll be ready to unroll it, take it off rather, throw some amendments in here, maybe a little fertilizer, and get the garden off and kickstart it in the right way. I think the first year was a really nice success for us. We put a ton of vegetables in the freezer. We had fresh vegetables for meals, which was awesome. And so when it comes to cucumbers and squash and peppers and what else did we get out of here? Man, we had so much good stuff. Tomatoes. We struggled with broccoli and cauliflower. And we also struggled with, we had some melons that didn't do very good. I mean, just, there was a few things that I thought we just need to do. We need to be better prepared next time. And we will. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. But I thought year one was a really nice success. And we'll come back and plan next spring's garden. Go ahead and start ordering our seeds here in a couple of months. It's fun to watch all the homesteaders online as they begin pulling their catalogs out and figuring out which seeds they want and planning their gardens. I find that to be incredibly fascinating and incredibly educational. We're going to start doing the same. We're going to lay out what we would like to do in terms of the food needs for our family, and we're gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. So we're living and learning, right? Living and learning. That's what it's all about. And so as we go into this next season, we will attempt to learn from some of the mistakes that we made. I know one mistake that we did not make, and that was in the okra department. We had okra bushes the size of palm trees. That stuff just went, it went like gangbusters. And I mean, there's, okra still laying all over the ground. I'm going to get all that cleaned up and get it over into a compost pile. And then we're gonna cover this thing up and get ready for winter. So we got a lot to do. Let's do this. What's the plan for next season? Well, I got to get this fence done. I started it. I had some go on. I had an issue with my auger. for my PTO, my 3-point. And so I had to kind of bring that little project down a little bit. But I got I got most of the poles in. I got one more side to do down here, and then we'll put the fencing up. And as you can tell, based on maybe where I'm standing, the garden over here is about 1/5 of the total area that I've got enclosed here. So we can expand our garden 5-fold. And I mean, obviously I don't think we're going to end up doing that. However, we probably will end up putting a little garden shed out here. Plantable space, probably about 5 times what we planted last area from what we planted last time. And I suspect we'll probably double the garden this next year. We've got a lot of extra things that we would like to put in the ground. And some of the things that we did do really well with may expand into multiple varieties. So for example, cucumbers. We did really well with cucumbers. We got more dill pickles you can shake, that you can shake a stick at. So next year we may end up trying a few other varieties. We had, I think the National Pickling, National, was that one of the varieties? I think National was one of the varieties, but we also had some decent success with like the Boston. And so we may try a couple of other varieties of cucumber next year, some slicers versus a more of a pickling cucumber. Same with tomatoes. Although our tomatoes, we certainly did harvest some tomatoes. The tomato selection that we made this past season was not a good one, I don't think. We just had too many issues. Not that maybe the varieties were bad, but the way that we tended them, the amount of water that we got, we just had a lot of issues with our tomatoes. But we may take a section like tomatoes or cucumbers, certainly peppers. We did phenomenal with bell peppers and hot peppers, and may add an extra variety or two of those since we tended to do really well. Anyway, all right, let me go ahead and knock down the rest of these T-posts, and then we'll take a look at the loofah hut over here and see if we've got any loofahs that we might be able to take. I have harvested, bleached, dried, bleached, washed, bleached, and cut some of my loofahs up, and they turned out great, really good. And so I think one of the activities that you'll be seeing here really soon is maybe some cold processed soap with loofah embedded in it, some scrub soap. I think that would be really fun to make. Never done it before. What are you eating on? Nutty dog. Getting there. Is this the only way to winterize your garden? Absolutely not. The preferable method, I think, would be to put a small cover crop, maybe a nitrogen feeding cover crop on over the top of this for the winter. But I think just from a time perspective, we're kind of limited on the time to properly do that. There's a lot of different ways to skin your cat. This is just the way that we're going to do it. And I think, again, it's experimental, right? We're living and learning as we go along. And so we'll find out come springtime whether or not putting a tarp over it was the right thing to do, and trying to kill off a lot of the weeds, beat this back. We'll spruce it up, or we'll give it a good shot of steroids come spring with some pH, liquid lime, and the fertilizer, and see if we can't pop this thing into into a wonderful spring. So, well, all right, I'm going to finish this up real quick. I've got a little bit more. I've got about half of this done. I got to do all of that. And then, like I said, we'll get over here to the loofah. Take a look at the loofah, plants here in just a minute. We'll probably tear those out as well. All right, with the exception of a big lump right here in the garden, I think I've got it cleared off pretty good. A little bit of greenery right through here. I'll scrape that up a little bit more here in a few minutes. Just knock that out. I need to catch my breath. But I think that's now ready to tarp. All right, so once the first frost hit, all the vines on the loofah trellis here died off, and a lot of these loofahs that are left are still, oh, that one's pretty nice. I don't know if there may go. You can feel the weight of them if they are still holding a lot of water and the fiber has not dried out completely. It'll be real heavy, but this one's a little bit lighter, and so that one may be good. But I think overall, most of the rest of these are dried out. But I have got plenty. I mean, like, this is overkill for what I wanted to do. I planted five loofah plants, and I think, or excuse me, 6 loofah plants, and I think only 5 came up. And it was way more than I anticipated. I didn't know how many loofahs would grow on a vine. But when these things took off, and they took off a little bit later than the garden, but once they took off, oh my goodness, it was insane. I mean, you just look, the number of loofahs that are still left on this thing, and I've been picking them. I've been picking them like crazy. But next season, I think what I'll end up doing is planting a couple of them along the fence line, and just letting them go up the fence. I may make a makeshift trellis out of cattle panel stood up, and lean it up against a pole so that it has 7 feet to grow up. And it'll grow all the way up it and probably all the way down the other side of it, because these things were running everywhere. And I may only plant 2 or 3 plants next time. A small number will go a long way. But I was incredibly enthusiastic and excited about how this turned out. I've just got to come up with a better way of supporting it next season. Well, I'm going to tear these out of the ground and get this cattle panel out of the way, and then I'm going to put the tarp over the garden, and I think that'll probably wrap it up. It's been a nice morning, and I hope you guys have a great morning and a great evening and a great afternoon. You guys have a wonderful week and a very blessed week. Until we see you again the next time, we will. See ya. What you chewing on, girl?